Hello friends and welcome. Today's video we've got some brand new fall DIYs we are crafting on a budget, and I hope that you decide to stick around, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it. We are using whatever we can find on a budget from my stash, Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby, Dollar General. Let's get started. First up, I have a sign that I had picked up on clearance from Dollar Tree after season at one point, but you could use anything you have for a base. It could be some old home decor that you just don't like anymore, or something you picked up at a thrift store, a clearance find, or one of those signs that they have different shapes and sizes at Dollar Tree every year, or even Dollar General. I decided to just use my ruler and a fine tip Sharpie to draw some lines to kind of make like this different edges you can see on the top and bottom that are uneven look like some wood planks. I decided not to paint this board because I just liked the color of it, and I'm going to use these stencils that I picked up from the Hobby Lobby. They came in a 2-pack for $1.99, and I have had people ask me if they still have them this year or what they have, what they don't have. I have not been able to find these particular stencils, but Dollar General and Hobby Lobby typically have great prices on stencils, so I definitely recommend checking out your stores if you're in need of some. And I'm going to just stencil on Happy Fall. I'm going to just cover up with a piece of paper the leaves because I don't want to stencil those. And I'm using Pumpkin by Waverly. That is a color that I have and like to use for fall. And I'm just using a stencil brush from Dollar Tree, making sure I don't have too much paint on my brush, but then taking my time to go over it a couple of times to make sure I have good coverage. As you can see, I chose not to paint the back of the sign just because I liked the color and the look of it. Pulling our stencil off, and I just wanted to show you, I just immediately clean it. It's the best way to preserve your stencils. I use a little cleaner that I just happen to have on my work space here, but water or a baby wipe is usually what I use, or bring it to a sink. Just clean it quickly but gently before your paint dries. For some embellishment, I have these leaves. They came from Hobby Lobby. I picked them up after clearance one year, I think last year maybe, for like 29 cents, and they had several in there. I've used them for a couple projects. But before I do that, I decided to get my placement for my bow, and this is just a scrap from, I think it was a towel. I'm actually going to use the rest of this in another DIY in a little bit here. I'm just flipping it around because the other side had a little bit more green and I liked that. But this was actually like the binding edge of a hand towel, and so it was thicker, and I just had it sitting on my table and I was like, oh, I can make a bow out of this. So use your scraps, guys. Just use what you have. Little bits and pieces will, put them all together and you've got a great project. I tied it off in the middle rather than tying it in a bow because it would be too bulky. I just used some more orange and white twine that I had, and a button that is from my stash from the Dollar Tree. This little container came from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to hot glue a little button on the center, and then we'll go ahead and place our leaves all around just using a little bit of hot glue. For this project, I'm using the back of the sign, so I didn't have to take anything off the front. You can do it either way. You've seen me do it both ways if you've watched my channel before. And I left the twine knotted in the front, which was once the back, because I like that look, but you could easily, cut that off and redo it if you want the knots in the back, but I like that little detail. If you're new here, I want to say hello and welcome. My name is Leanne, and I enjoy sharing budget-friendly DIYs here on this channel, and I would love it if you would consider subscribing to my channel before you leave. Join my YouTube family, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell so that my videos will show up in your subscription feed. And that is it for this fun sign. This would be cute in the middle of like a wreath, maybe on your front door, or just hung up. You can also use it as a leaner sign, make it however you want. But I love how this one came out. I like the leaves and the texture of the bow, just the little details. Let me know what you guys think down below. I suppose this DIY is a bit of an upcycle and using some scraps I have on hand. So first off, I have this amber colored jar, and I'm just trying to get a little sticky residue off of it. I did wash it, actually ran it through the dishwasher, but my rubbing alcohol wasn't quite working. So I'm using some orange essential oil, and then I'll clean it with the rubbing alcohol. But this actually had some of my skincare in it. It was in a amber bottle with like a pump spray, and I was just cleaning it out to recycle it, and I was like, I really should use this in fall decor because amber bottles are perfect for that. So I'm just using something I had that was going to go in recycling, and then I'm going to use some scraps and bits and pieces that I have in my craft stash. So I have this little strand of berry garland, is what I believe it's called, berry garland at Dollar Tree, and maybe pit berry from Hobby Lobby. and I bought it at both places, but I like this one. It's orange and then like a maroon color. I'm just wrapping the ends around my paintbrush to get a little bit of some curly cues. And then I'm going to twist it around to the bottle. This ended up being a little long, so I decided to, rather than trim it, just twist it around again. I am not hot gluing anything on here. I am not permanently securing anything, although hot glue would come off a glass bottle if you needed it to. And we're just using more scraps, more bits and pieces, a couple of flowers, a couple of stick-like pieces off of a pick, some of this, I think it's corn husk from Hobby Lobby. It came in a big bag. And I'm just adding different textures, little pieces. It's a small bottle. It didn't take much. And I'm just kind of zhuzhing it around, getting, you know, a cute little look to it. And that is it for this one. Just using the bits and pieces that I had, kind of scraps that maybe you would throw out, and put them together. And it's a cute little arrangement in a beautiful little amber jar, which are very popular these days. You can find like vintage and antique ones. Or this one I think had jojoba oil, which is what I was using on my face, and I just cleaned it out. So that is it. Simple little upcycle using some scraps. We're going to give this pumpkin a facelift. This is just a foam pumpkin, and I'm going to rip the stem out. It was actually in there really, really good. And we're going to switch it up. I wanted to do some pumpkins, and I had a bunch in my decor stash. And I was like, I don't need all of these. Let's change this one up. So I pulled that stem out, and it was left a little mess, so I cleaned it up. Here is this dish towel. I'm pretty sure this was a dish towel. I need to stop saying that. I am positive it's a dish towel. I don't know where I got it from. I had it for a long time, and then I decided, I don't remember if I had a hole in it or what, but eventually I decided to throw it in my craft supplies, and I've been using it, and we're going to finish up using it in this video. I'm just cutting off the seamed like binding edge because it's really thick, and just cutting as close to the edge on that because this is going to give me pretty much just enough fabric to wrap my pumpkin with. Now, if it was a thinner fabric and a little bit bigger, then I could just pull it up and tuck it into the hole at the top. But it's a thicker fabric, so the bunching would be a little too bulky, and a couple of the spots weren't quite long enough. So I'm going to use the help of just a little bit of hot glue to tack it down in a couple of places. And I'm going to just create some folds and again use some hot glue wherever I can to kind of hold that in place. I feel like a broken record, but we're just using what we have on hand. If you are enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up. It's a very simple way to help me out, to help my channel grow, help YouTube desire to share my videos with others. When you subscribe, when you give a thumbs up, when you leave me a comment, all of that engagement helps YouTube say, hey, I wonder if somebody else is going to want to check out this video too. As I was trying to tuck the fabric down into the center of the pumpkin, I was like, there is something hard in here. And so I was just using my scissors to kind of dig out some of that. I guess it's what the stem was maybe attached to. I don't know where this foam pumpkin came from, but it was pretty well put together. So I'm just continuing really just to like fold over, so I'm covering up the spaces that didn't have enough. When I was all done with this, you could not tell that it didn't fully, that I was a little bit short on material. Where needed, I'm going to trim off any excess material to make it easier to tuck that in there and just keep this looking a little bit, as neat as I can. And sometimes needing to use a tool to help kind of shove that material down in there. But just kind of tucked and glued and trimmed and folded until I have the pumpkin fully covered. Sometimes when I give a store-bought pumpkin a makeover, I will totally change out the stem or the peduncle. But this time I decided to use the existing one and just paint it a little bit. I'm painting it with some black paint, drying that down, and then going in with like some taupe paint, just kind of blending the colors. I dried it down, but I didn't like fully dry it. Or maybe I fully dried it, but I didn't clean my paintbrush. I think that's what I did. Just to kind of blend those together, make it still look a little bit streaky, which looks a little bit more natural, I guess. Not that this fabric colored pumpkin looks natural. I don't know. I painted it till I liked the look of it. And I'm going to put this kind of grassy material. I don't know how to say it. I got it from burlap.com. I will try to remember to link it for you. Or you could use some moss. It is a moss-like material. It's just in a natural color, is the color I got it in. And I just kind of grabbed a little bit of that. And then I'm going to push the stem back in there, trim it up a little bit, not much, it still want to be a little bit messy, but I did give it a little bit of a trim. And that is it for this one. Let me know what you guys think of this. Didn't take much, just some things I had on hand, some scrap fabric, and gave this pumpkin a whole new look. I love the plaid and the pop of color, and it's just fun to make things over when you get bored of it, but you don't necessarily have to go spend a bunch more money on new decor. You just give what you have a little bit of a facelift, and I don't know, it's fun for me. I hope that you enjoyed this one. Let me know what you guys think. Do you have some fabric around the house that you could use to make over a pumpkin? I have this washboard that originally was from Target, but I don't know that I got it from Target. I feel like I got it at a thrift store. And you can see there's some damage there up to the top. So we're just going to cover that with some fabric, or not some fabric, some scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just trimming that down. I kind of did a rough measuring, so it took me a couple times to trim it down. And I'm just going to use a glue stick to apply it. And if you watch Kristen K, I love watching Kristen K's channel. Check her out. She does everything with a glue stick, like fabric, everything. It's quite impressive. And I have this little like squeegee tool. This is a Plaid product, which Plaid is the company that does Mod Podge. But it's really good at just kind of getting into the corners, and it's a rubber. It doesn't tear anything. Just got our little piece down in there. And then I have a wood pumpkin. This one is from Hobby Lobby, but I know Dollar Tree has had some in the past as well. And I am just going to use the glue stick. I was in glue stick mode, inspired by Kristen. And we're going to cover that with some fabric here. Not some fabric, some scrapbook paper, wiping off some excess glue stick. We're just going to rub that on, and then once that's set for just a second, I'm going to use my little finger sander to trim off the excess here. And I'm just going away from the piece instead of pulling up. You don't want to pull up, but this works really, really good to get the excess paper off. But you could also, cut around it or use some other method if you want, but I really like this method because it works great. Sometimes I like doing some DIYs that have more steps and are detailed. Sometimes I just like to keep them simple. So we are going to hot glue this pumpkin to the bottom of the washboard, pressing down. I stuck my hand around back to like help put pressure on it, and then I was like, ow, hot glue through tin. That makes the tin really hot. And then I have this wood word piece. This is from a pack from Dollar Tree from a year or so ago. I'm not sure if they still have them, but you may still have some in your stash. If not, check Hobby Lobby for some pieces. And I'm just hot gluing that on the top. And then I did go in with one little detail, another one of those leaves from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to attach that to our little pumpkin. I thought it was a cute addition. I did go in with a glue stick on the stem because it kept bouncing up. And then a little twine bow across the top of the pumpkin, kind of to cover up where the leaf met. I just felt like that looked better. And, still very simple, not a lot of details, not a lot of steps for this project. Use what you have. That is my message to you. You don't have to spend a lot. You don't have to do a lot. You don't always need fancy tools, although fancy tools are fun. Sometimes you can just keep it simple. I love how this one came out. Let me know down below what you guys think of this one. I just have it leaning up against a candle. It's not really styled here, but on a shelf as a background to another decor piece. I love this one. All right, so this is a framed piece, decor piece that I picked up on clearance from Dollar General, and I painted it with this taupey color. I'm not even sure the name of it, but I just painted it that color. And you can see here it was a laundry sign from Dollar General. Dollar General has lots of times. Recently, I just picked up, not this piece, but other pieces for 50 cents. They had so many things that were $1, and it was buy one, get one free. And so check out Dollar General. Even if they're not all great, there's usually a lot of them. So find one near you that has some things. And I'm just going to trim down this fabric. This is from the Dollar Tree from, I don't know, some point in the past. But you can buy fabric at any craft store or Walmart. And I'm not gluing this one down. But do that if you want. This time I'm just going to just kind of wrap it around the piece and put it back in the frame. This is not a frame that had glass in it. And so I'm just kind of maneuvering it to get it in there. But if this is a pain for you, then feel free to just actually glue it and attach it and cut it down to size. I needed a little bit of an overhang because I was, I needed to hold onto it so that it could stay tight. So we're going to get that back in here. This is a sign. It has a sawtooth hanger and a twine piece. I am going to trim off just a little excess in the corners, but you could obviously make it this a hanging sign, a not hanging sign, whatever you want to do. I found this pumpkin piece from Dollar General. It was only $1, and the color when I saw it, I was like, I really like this. I think it came in other colors, but I only found this one. And I was like, I have fabric that's going to go really good with this. So we're just going to attach this. I put a lot of hot glue in hopes that the hot glue would go through the fabric, because otherwise I didn't want the weight of this piece to pull the fabric out since I did not attach the fabric. So I put a lot of hot glue and pressed it nice and good so that it would hopefully go through the fabric. And I've had no problems with it at all. And then I just wanted to add one little detail. Pulled out a button. Again, I got these from the Dollar Tree, but you can buy them at craft stores. You can buy them at thrift stores, like jars of buttons. So shop around, get it on a budget. I left the original bow on there because I liked it and just added this button to the center. And that is it. That is all I did for this piece here. Here it is, all completed. Let me know what you guys think about this one. Again, if you don't have the twine on it, you could attach some twine if you want to hang it, or just use it as a leaner sign. Use what you have and make it how you want to make it. That is the idea of DIYs. You do it yourself. My goal is to just give you a little bit of inspiration for you to make your own stuff for your home. That is going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, subscribe if you are new. Give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. I appreciate it. See you next time.